Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com. Easily their best game of the series, arguably their best game of the season. The Edmonton Oilers waltz into LA, a place where not many teams were able to win this year, and laid down a beauty. 3-1 final score. They were persistent. They did not get frustrated. A well-rounded team game. 3 in a row. Oilers have a chance to close it out coming back home for game number 6. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Gonna have a great show. We got lots to break down. We got Jason Strudwick. We got Chris Sabuni. We'll have Rob Brown in a little bit. And man, lots to discuss. Our show is always brought to you by Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and so you can play casino games, bet on sports safely, securely, and responsibly. Everything you need to know is at playalberta.ca. I'm coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio. They now have a 24/7 mobile service truck ready for roadside emergencies, scheduled repairs, expert diagnostics, anytime, anywhere. For service truck emergencies, call 780-907-1965, extension 119. The YouTube chat is thumping already. Solid number on X as well. Twitch, I don't have, but I'm sure we're burning up Twitch tonight too, Struddy. Oh, this is a game, buddy, that Oil fan is going to feel good about because they have been saying, where is this game? And the Oilers laid it down.
Unbelievable game they played. As I was watching, I was trying to think, when was the last time I can say almost everyone played an excellent game and the team game was incredible? I can't remember the last time they played a game like that. It's been, a number of fortnights. So pretty impressive that they got this done. And LA was there was one player in LA that was on their game and the others weren't ready to raise and meet the level of the Oilers tonight.
Yeah. Zuby, what would you say about Pickard? Because you look at the stats, if you look at the stats of his playoff performance overall, the stats lines aren't great. Tonight, obviously, it was a lot better. But what do you say, man? 3 straight games, 3 straight wins, finding ways.
Yeah, and he's clutch late. He's let in some goals, obviously only one tonight, but he certainly seems to come up with those clutch saves late. And someone on the, in the post that we were just listening to was talking about it can be tough to stay sharp in an 18-19 shot game. It really is. And you think about those, whenever I hear people talking about that, remember those Detroit teams before they finally broke through? They could not get a goal. That's why they couldn't win. They were only giving up 20 shots. They were dominating and they kept losing. It is difficult to do that. And it was a masterclass tonight.
Absolutely. We're going to dig into all of these elements in depth. So let's get to it, gentlemen. Let's get to our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. Only at your Alberta Ram dealer during the month of April. Get a Cummins turbo diesel engine at no charge when you purchase a 2024 Ram heavy-duty truck. That's up to $94.50 in value. The offer will not last, so make sure you see your Alberta Ram dealer today. Okay, Struds, I'm going to give you a big picture thought here, buddy. The LA Kings have spit the bit. They've made a big mistake in this series, choking up those leads, because the Edmonton Oilers have been given time to find their footing. They had a vulnerable opponent that was off balance early in this series, didn't have their faculties about them, didn't have their game, didn't have their power play, didn't have their line combinations. Goaltending was shaky. Injured guys were just getting back. They had their opponent against the ropes. They stepped back and basically they spit the bit, Struds. They've missed a huge opportunity. And this game tonight is the Edmonton Oilers declaring they've found their game.
Yeah, those are all good points. And I think we talked about when we had old Curly Fries on there to preview the series, and we talked a little bit about the idea of
Bruce Kurlock, yes.
and we talked about
Sure, he loves
he
that.
chirped me in his piece about me wearing blue jeans and my forever in blue jeans. But anyways,
Oh, did he?
and it was funny. It was really funny. So
I'm
I
sure
had
you
to give him a
deserved
shot
it.
back. Yeah, I did, and I deserve every chirp I get because I had him out.
Mm.
But he spoke about, and we spoke about that the longer the series went, you'd hope that players would be able to get themselves back into playing shape. And that's just not the big ones like Kane and Frederick. It was the Leons, the Hymans, all these types of guys, a wild card like Klingberg. And we've seen them now get going. And what that's allowed is that
Yeah.
because of these players coming back, it's allowed the coaching staff to play 4 lines. It's allowed them to play 6D. It's allowed them to play 2 goalies, right? Although there was no goalie injuries on the back end. So, the Kings played very well in the first couple games. The Oilers get back into it. And tonight, their goaltender was all world. This is why he's a Vezina finalist. He's played pretty well, but tonight was a Vezina finalist performance, and it wasn't enough at home to win a game. This will be a very, very disheartening loss for this team. Very disheartening team.
Let's check in with Chris Knobloch in the Weiss Johnson Soundbox.
When you consider the opposition, the LA Kings, obviously a very good hockey team. Probably, I believe they had the best record in the second half of the season. So for us to come out and play as well as we did tonight against a good quality team and in their building, I thought it was a great effort from our guys.
Can you speak to the amount of players that got involved tonight? Janmark scoring again, Kane scoring, Henrique 10-3 in the circle, Hyman, 10 hits, 6 shots on goal. You had a lot of contributors. It just wasn't Connor and Leon tonight.
Yeah, no, I think we put in a good team effort. I think everyone was contributing. That goes to the back end, the forwards, all lines like. The Janmark line only played, between 7-10 minutes between that group, and they come up big with a huge goal. The guys who were part of the penalty kill at the end of the game, that was a huge kill. We gave up a penalty kill goal, but not much else we can do on that. Like, it snuck in through a lot of traffic there. Everyone very, very happy with what they provided.
Okay, Struds, and that speaks directly to the point that you just made. The Oilers had everybody engaged in this game. They were rolling lines early, and they got off to the best start that they'd gotten off to so far in this series. What did you think was the difference for them early on in this game that allowed them to start the way they did finally?
For the first time in a while, in this series, I thought the Oilers looked much faster than the Kings. They were skating, and I think it was one of the reporters asked Hiller, said, they were just going such straight lines, and they were going in straight lines, attacking up the ice, transitioning really quickly, getting up at that ice, and the Kings were on roller skates trying to figure out what the hell's going on. What are we going to do here? And their answer kept going back to, they were trying to get that neutral zone trap going. But when you do that, it means you're not forward checking. So then they wind up more speed and they keep coming at you quicker. And after a while, it becomes disheartening. So the straight lines, Schauger, tonight made a huge difference. And they did it instead of 2 periods, they did it for 3.
Let's talk about the strategy that Chris Knobloch employed heading into this game. So for a second time in this series, he runs morning skate and warm-up in different lines than he ends up playing. So he ran McDavid and Draisaitl on separate lines at morning skate today, and then again in pregame warm-up. Now, Jay Woodcroft did this multiple times in the playoffs a couple years ago. In fact, he took it a step further. He was practicing in lines that he didn't run on off days between series, which I thought was a little excessive. But bottom line here, the decision is made to go with McDavid and Draisaitl together, Struds. He goes to them early. He double shifts them early. He double shifts them off the start of the second period as well. Swapping Corey Perry in and out, right? Giving some other guys a look there. But fundamentally, he goes 29 and 97 tonight. They didn't produce, but it worked.
It did, and it puts pressure on the other team, because I think when you have those two together, you're not sure when they're going out, so it's harder to put out your fifth and sixth defenseman. Now I know they're at home, but maybe they change them on the fly, so you're not sure. And I think he's trying to mess with their heads a little bit there at that point. But two things that I think he can do it. One, the contribution, the way that Corey Perry's playing. He's playing on that line, and he only played about 12 minutes tonight. Well, that's a really intense view of you. And then,
sorry, turn my light down there. Sorry, pal. My armpit and face.
I think that he played 12 or 13 minutes. It felt like he played more, and that's a real compliment. The other is we cannot undervalue the impact that Evander Kane's had on this lineup. And the surprise, to me, it's a surprise. And the way he's playing, he is helping another line be hard to play against, getting to the net, being physical. He's in every scrum. I mean, there's scrums everywhere, and 91 pops up in there. He's making it happen. So I think those two guys are really, really important to this lineup, and that gives a little bit more flexibility at the top end.
I really like the line formations tonight, Struds. I don't often advocate for 29 and 97 to be together.
Likewise.
But I like those lines, man. When you have Kane, Nugent Hopkins, and Zach Hyman going, that is a formidable second line, right? And so the question I often ask is, if you're not scoring goals, what are you doing, right? So we'll point to Zach Hyman tonight, right? And you heard Bob there Stoffing his question to Knobloch. So 18 minutes and 44 seconds, doesn't have any points, 6 shots on net, 10 hits, is all over the place, creating turnovers. Like, Hyman was heavily engaged in this game. Evander Kane heavily engaged in this game. Nugent Hopkins had some excellent defensive plays in this game. So when those guys are going, it allows you to play the big guys together, Struds. It's such a difference, and you really see the depth that this Oiler team has. All 4 of these forward lines are usable against almost any line that the Kings have, and Knobloch talked about that yesterday.
So let's look at the lines, how they're made. Perry, Kane, Frederick, Podkolzin. Big bodies, play heavy games, and they're all not afraid to get involved physically and scrum it up. The centers, they're all smart. I don't think we have to get too crazy. And they're all fairly quick. And then the other side, you have, that depends who you have at center, Connor or Leon, but let's just pretend it's Connor. And then you have Connor, Hyman, Connor Brown, and Arvidsson. All those guys can score, obviously some more than others, but they can all score. So they have a little bit of everything in each line. So it's kind of like each line is similar in the way that they're built. A heavier body, and those heavier bodies can chip in. Speedy, smart centers, and then guys on the other side, they can score. So they're all kind of carbon copies, and they roll out one after the other. Keep coming them out there. Keep getting them out there. And that's something that Kings can't do. And right now they're having the last 5 periods, they've been unable to handle these 4 lines coming at them fast. And I know you want to skip over it, the contributions the D-men are making. For sure. They're making smart decisions, in the right place. And I really think Klingberg has been a key in this situation. 3 wins in a row with him. He is moving the puck well. Is he perfect defensively? No, but he's figuring it out. And his line mates are supporting him with the back check. I think they like him out there, the way he's making plays.
1836.
Crazy.
5 shots on net, 3 hits. He has stepped into playoff hockey and found a way to elevate his game above and beyond anywhere it was even close. It wasn't even close to this during the regular season at any point, Struds. He was such a question mark. Stetcher was ahead of him on, there was a time where I would have said play Dineen ahead of this guy based on what he had given them late. And he was an available player for them late in the season, and they weren't even using him. And now he steps in and does this.
I don't even know how to explain it. And it's rare for someone to play like he did, miss that much time, and then come back and elevate his game to this level, to almost 18 to 20 minutes a night in the playoffs. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I forget who made the point, and it might have been Jason Gregor, so I don't want to take it away from him. But, LA doesn't forecheck super hard, so it gives them a little bit more time to make plays, especially at the tops of circles. Yeah, so I think that's a fair point. And I don't know if that was Gregor's original point, but I really like that point. That's well made and well thought out. But he's doing it, and he's slinging that puck around. Look on Kane's goal. I mean, how many of the Oilers defensemen can make that pass? I'd say Bouchard probably can make it, and Klingberg.
Yeah.
After that, and that's no disrespect to other guys in there, but that was a really smart, quick play and pass by him to the middle.
You get in there against a real heavy forechecking team that likes to play ground and pound and get in on you. And Klingberg, there's a chance that he's exposed in a series like that. But the way LA wants to play this, he's had time to find his footing. He's had time to find his hands. He's had time to get in stride. And again, maybe a situation where LA tactically, maybe needed to be thinking a little bit differently, given you had an injured Wallman starting the series and Klingberg just getting back. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox and hear from some of the principals involved tonight. The team over at Weiss Johnson already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioners. So if you want one, beat the rush and give them a call today. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical system or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson's there for all your home comfort needs. Visit Weiss-Johnson.com today. 3 straight wins. Zuby, we're going to let the jingle roll just a little more tonight.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local and family owned.
Local and family owned. And they're proud of it. Weiss Johnson. Whoa. Okay, let's hear from the opposition first. Here's the head coach, Jim Hillier, on, what bit his team tonight.
We were not connected defensively, and I don't think we gave ourselves a great chance. We turned the puck over. I mean, you guys watched the game. How many times did we turn the puck over so we were disorganized? They came racing at us. That team, if you got the odd man rushes, we'd probably give them more odd man rushes in the first period tonight than they might have had in the whole series to this part. You're just not going to win that. We're not going to win that way. Maybe.
Here's Evander Kane.
Last game we came out pretty well in the third period, and probably had our best period. Obviously the playoffs and overtime, and I think that was a nice reminder of how we can play when we are urgent and desperate. And we wanted to come out with that same mindset tonight, and I thought we did a great job of that.
And last but not least, and this is where we're going to take the conversation next, Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, I want to pitch in any way I can. Obviously, getting the start in Game 3, being down 2-0, you just want to take it one game at a time. And those were kind of roller coaster ride games. But coming back here 2-2, we felt good about where we were at and how we finished off last game. And we carried it over tonight. And the next one's going to be the hardest.
All right, Zuby, you've got a Hyman clip as well, don't you? Is it on Calvin Pickard?
It is, yeah. There's 2 here back to back. I can kill it after the first one if you want, but we'll let it roll.
Your call.
Solid. 6 on 5 too. They had possession there for a while. Made all the saves he needed to make. Obviously, I think it was like a double tip on the power play goal, so tough to save that one when it changed direction twice on you. But other than that, if your goalie lets in one goal, you're in pretty good shape.
Let's just end it there.
So, all right, thanks, pal. Okay, so Calvin Pickard watches at the other end of the ice as Darcy Kemper is just absolutely dialed, dominating. Oilers are throwing everything, the kitchen sink at him, and save after save after save. And then a few opportunities come the Kings' way, and Pickard was good tonight, Struds. Didn't see as much action at the guy at the other end, but 3 games here, and he's got wins in all of them. He's finding ways. And just what an amazing storyline this is.
It's crazy. But it's not like it's out of nowhere. He's been winning games for this team all year, right? So this isn't a guy that's just picked up the scrap heap and in February or just coming. He's been winning games for this team, and he understands how to play to win. Tonight he made some nice saves. You're right. There wasn't a ton of pressure on him. And man, I started worrying, halfway through the game, I'm like, this sure feels like a game where they get one break and LA's going to get 2-1. They just absolutely lock it down, build the wall in front of their blue line. And it's really hard. Now, lucky it didn't go quite that way. But he made some good saves. He wasn't challenged a lot. So 2 things. He played well, but I think this was an Oilers' really good defensive effort as well. and they were frustrating. It wasn't just how they defended the guys coming up, Schauger. I thought their back check was elite today. They put a ton of pressure on them and kind of swatted or broke plays up before they entered the blue line, thanks to either a good back check or standing up because of the back check coming.
Yeah, we're going to have Rob Brown joining us shortly. So we're going to wrap up this segment a little bit early because we'll get to Brownie and we'll dive into the Oilers' overall game, what went so well for them defensively. We'll get Brownie's take on a bunch of stuff as well. Before we do that, though, let's get to our YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Golf season is here. Dust off the old clubs and get ready for the year. Or grab some new grips. How about a new driver or maybe a whole new set? DeBoer's has you covered. Locally owned and operated in business over 25 years. Go see Scotty, Al, TJ, the great crew down at DeBoer's. They'll take amazing care of you. 53rd Avenue and 99th Street. Zuby, what do you got for a poll tonight, bud?
All right, the question tonight is who's been the most impactful Oiler in these last 3 games, the 3 wins? The choices are Connor McDavid, we got Evander Kane, we got Calvin Pickard, and we have Evan Bouchard. And notably, certainly Leon Draisaitl could have been on there. There's a couple of other. There was already been some Klingberg write-ins. Yep. So that's a good thing for the team when there's more to go on that list. But those are the 4 that I put on the poll tonight.
All right. I love it. So let us know your thoughts, and we will get to the results of the poll coming up a little bit later on in the show. That was our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. We're going to take a break. Rob Brown will be joining us shortly, and tons more of this game to break down. So stay with us here. I Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
That cross-check on Evander Kane in the 3rd period, it's getting a lot of mention in the chat. There is a lot of angry Oiler fans out there that call was not made. I don't blame them. Don't do a lot of complaining about the refs. That was bizarre, how you can get two-handed from behind and go head first into the net with the ref looking and nothing. Thought that was worth mentioning, though. It's been 4 or 5 times in the chat. Time now for Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Deer season is now on at Horizon Ag and Turf. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus save up to $4,000 on select John Deere compact utility tractors and Gator side-by-side. Start saving bucks today at your local John Deere dealer. Visit Horizon Ag and Turf online or one of their 13 Alberta dealership locations. You had to be shaking your head a little on that one, Struddy. Like, Kane's got to be thinking, what do I got to do here, man?
Yeah, listen, I thought it was a penalty for sure. But as far as Evander's no angel. He's done some things that are on the very gray area of the rule book. So it tends to even out a little bit, but I think that could have been a call for sure.
And I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree, but you could tell he was frustrated. So he goes in to defend McDavid. He doesn't overdo it with Gavrikov. He's pretty chill. Right. He just goes in and steps in, right? And the linesmen are just all over him. Like, he's just getting swarmed. And I could tell he was getting agitated. He's like, go talk to them. And then when he and Gavrikov engaged in front of the bench at a whistle there, the refs come over and they're like shooing him away. And he's like, I didn't do anything. Like, go talk to them. Like, I think he feels, if you were to look at what he's done in this series, Struds, like the reputation you're talking about is what he brings in. He has been measured in this series. He has been patient. I would say he's been pretty disciplined so far in this series.
Yeah, he sure has. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
yes.
Hey-o.
10:41, big jump there. Thanks for paying attention. Nice. NFG, Northern Farm Girl, brought it to my attention, but it just happened. So good stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's been calm, but his reputation is that they're always going to look for him because they think he's the instigator, and that's just the way. That's how it's been for 1,000 years. That's just how it is. But I like the way I like what he's done. I like how he's getting in scrums. I like how he's standing in there. At the end when Gavakrov's giving it to Connor, he comes in there. That's what you have to do. But he's the big dog out there, right? There's the Kings have nobody that can stand up to him. I mean, I guess maybe Sammy Helenas, but he plays 2 minutes a night. You're not going to engage with that guy. Like, you want that guy out there. So I think he's done a great job. And I just keep saying it, but I cannot believe he's playing at this level after not playing for 10 months. It's crazy what he's accomplishing.
Yeah, been pretty impressive. Let's talk about the Oilers' defensive game tonight, Struds. They gave up, next to no shots through the first half of the game. LA got a little bit back a little bit later on, but they were chasing it a little, so some of that is score effects a little bit as they're pushing. What did you like most about the defensive game from the team?
It started out on the back check. Like, the back check was relentless. The guys were going and coming back so quickly. One time, even Evan Bouchard back checked and lifted someone's stick and pulled it away. Like that, when a D man's back checking that hard, and you do feel guilty when you're a D man, you look up and see it's a forward back there. But their back check was so strong that I think LA felt pressure. You kind of get happy feet because you can see the guys coming behind or feel it. Then the D-men are like, okay, I'm going to stand up here because I've got back pressure. What's the worst thing that can happen? The guy beats me. So, yeah, that to me is where it all started, because I think that stopped a lot of zone entries or easy zone entries for the Kings.
Traden Reed says, first time live listener, was in attendance. Those fans are rattled. Finish out in oil country. So a new live listener, Traden Reed. Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, so some patience is required because Kemper is having himself a night. And Struds, it wasn't the big guys that break through. Let's go through the offense that the Oilers did find. And first and foremost, Evander Kane. That's one of the things he comes with, is he's got a pretty good shot, and he doesn't necessarily always need to be perfectly set to get it off and still have quite a bit on it. I find him to be a pretty good off-balance shooter.
He was off balance, but got to talk about Klingberg getting that puck. Hey, Brownie, Rob Brown joins us. Everyone, 2 claps in a row. Woo! So there's it's awful.
Hey, Brownie, by the way, we're just talking about Evander Kane's nice goal, and Struds transitioned it into complimenting a defenseman. So you've stepped in here in perfect time.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Brownie's great shot. He can talk about it. But honestly, there's a great scrum down low. Goes to Klingberg. He makes a great play. But I love how 2 things. One thing is important. Kane gets it off quick. And the second is the pass in there from Klingberg. But, that deflects off the D-men, Joel Edmondson. And you can tell by Kemper's reaction, he's like, just let me save it. So I love that moment because he was really feeling it. It was, off another guy's stick, his own teammate's stick, to go in, Brownie.
You're right. And what we saw tonight from Kemper, that anything that didn't hit something, he was going to save. That was as good a goalie effort as we've seen in a long time. The grade A scoring chances were stupid in favor of the Oilers. Kane is strong. To be able to shoot on your back foot or off balance, you need strength, because that's all it is. It's just strength. And he doesn't take his time. It doesn't take time. It's just boom, on and off his stick. That's why the defenseman couldn't get his body in the way, and it was just part of it and just the stick, and that's why they deflected. But I agree with you, though, Struds, on Klingberg. That was a huge goal at that time. The Kings had just taken the lead. The Kings had just killed off a power play with the Oilers' best players just had changed. They could get really nothing going. So it was a big moment in the game. And not only did Klingberg keep it in, he rushed all the way up to get it. He had Doughty coming out of the penalty box. So he was being pestered from behind. A lot of defensemen, once they got to the puck, knowing Doughty's coming out or players coming from behind, they're just keeping it in. All right, I did my job. I kept it in. He made a play. And I think that's just, as we talked last game about Klingberg, is he might not have the mobility that he's had. And it's when we talk about Corey Perry, the same thing. But they are smart players, and that doesn't go. And when he has a little bit of time to make a play, the play is always the right one. So fantastic play by Klingberg.
Zuby, what are we at for thumbs up? What are we at for thumbs up right now?
Looks like 215.
215. So we want to set a goal, what, 350, and we'll give a three-way 2 claps and a yippity yip from Struds, Brownie, and I, all in unison.
Oh my
350,
goodness.
and it's 2 claps and a yippity yip from all of us.
No, I won't.
Okay.
I won't do that. I refuse. Call it by the right name. You're disrespecting
350.
the 2 claps and a woo. I'm out.
Okay,
So
we're setting that at 350. Brownie, we had already talked quite a bit about Evander Kane. You talked about the offense that he had there, but just maybe give us your thought on. I mean, it's impressive what he's been able to step in and do after not playing all season long. So he's made, the offensive impact, but then, other impacts as well. Like, I'm not sure we could have predicted it would go much better than it has here.
And no, yeah, we were talking about it on Ched with it too, is in my generation, a player doesn't come back from 10 months off and dominate. The first game he was okay, but since then he's been dominating, and he's played tonight with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman a lot of the time. When he was out there, he was the driver of that line. It wasn't like he was, a side piece. He was the guy out there taking charge, making plays, driving behind the net, putting pucks on net. He's got a physicality, and we saw that the big healthy run at Kempe. He also has swagger. Every time there is a scrum, he's in the middle of it. And I mean, the best is he's looking at one guy, grabbing another guy, and then talking to a third. He's got like 3 different things going on at the same time. And the guys that he's going with, like, they don't, okay, are you grabbing me? Like, who am I involved with right now? But he's doing it smart. And we've seen in the past in playoffs where he's taken some penalties that have been ill-advised. Yeah. He's not doing that. And you can't, not against an LA team. They scored another power play goal tonight. So his gamesmanship, his physicality, I expected. The offense, I think, is a bit of a surprise to jump in against a very, very good LA team and have that much of impact offensively. To me, was a little bit of surprise, but I probably shouldn't be surprised at anything that Kane can do.
Paul Wood contributing here on the stream. I like this one. He says, Struds needs to be disciplined for his series prediction. So I don't know what the got your back version of podcast discipline is or what it should look like, but Struds, I mean, you're wrong. Your prediction at this point is wrong. Is there anything that you would like to say? Anything you'd like to defend yourself with?
No, it looks it's around the unlikely area that my prediction comes true now. But I stand by what I said.
6.
Yeah, so it'd be difficult for it to get to that point, obviously now. Unlikely is a term I would use.
So you're calling it unlikely that the Kings win in 6.
That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm saying.
Like
Don't
Trump
get stuck on that
math,
detail.
okay?
You guys are getting, Paul, you and the Woodpile are getting stuck on a detail that's irrelevant. But I go back to it still. But so let's look at what happened. So my thing, I said, Doughty's in, Ekholm's out. Big problem. I didn't have Klingberg coming in and playing well like this. I did not see that coming. I talked about the longer it went, Kane and what's his name? Frederick could get back into it. Well, we're into 5 games, and it took them, I'd say, to game 3. They got going. So you had 3 guys, Frederick, Kane, and Klingberg, come in to support this lineup that have made a big, big difference. I didn't have that. And then the goalie situation. And, it was inconsistent, the comparison. And now Pickard's kind of getting wins, and Kemper, he's playing well. So those are the 3 things, and you could say that they've all kind of gone opposite the way that I predicted. Well, at least.
Well, you know what? Games. You know what, Struds? I'm going to give you one more thing that has cost you your prediction. Is the LA Kings coaching has been horrible.
Let's talk about it.
It has been horrible. Any other coach in this series might go a different direction. And tonight here's another thing he does tonight. He puts Kempe on defense late in the hockey game.
Yeah.
Okay, Kempe is a goal scorer with world-class speed. We saw him walk around 2 defensemen earlier on a breakaway. So now you're down a goal. Your best offensive player. You've got him playing defense. No, that's not where you put Kempe. I mean, this guy has made more bad choices, bad decisions in this series. In all honesty, he doesn't keep his job at the end of the season. If I'm the GM of this team, because this team was good enough, as you said, Struds, to win this series. And the way the first 4 games went, they should not be in the position they are in. And that to me is all on Jim Hiller.
Yeah, and let me double down on that. Post game, he was asked about what they have to do. He's like, we have to tighten up more. Tighten up more? How much more do you want to tighten up? It doesn't make sense. Tighten up more. Listen to their lines. Let's just talk about their lines for a second. It's Kuzmenko, Kopitar, Kempe. They should be able to score goals. Next up, Fiala, Byfield, Lafreniere. They should score goals. Fogle, Deneau, Trevor Moore. They should be able to score goals. You want to tighten up more? What are you tightening up here? It's like telling Michael Jordan not to dunk. It's like, Tiger Woods telling him not to hit a driver off the tee. I do not understand. It's like telling, what's that guy's name? Tom Brady, not to throw touchdowns. I don't understand it, Brownie. It's crazy. Those 3 lines are good. Those top 9 forwards are good. Yeah, their bottom 4 aren't great, but those tighten up. Go and play. Try to score goals and win this thing. God, that bothers me.
Well, that and he's exhausted his defense. I mean, they've overplayed them, and now they're just dead tired here in the series. And their fourth line, when it went out there, was effective. They were physical. And he plays them 2 shifts in the first period. All right, we're not going to use the rest of the night. No, this to me, if I'm GM of the LA Kings, I have a new coach next year, because this is back-to-back years that he has been badly outcoached in the playoffs by Chris Knobloch.
Tighten up more.
Kempe, 24-20 last game. It was overtime. 21-19 before, 21-01, and 22-20. That's in reverse order of the games. Tonight, when they needed a goal, and they should have been double shifting him and should have been going to him, instead they make him a defenseman, and he plays under 20 minutes tonight, Brownie. The least minutes tonight of all the games when they were down a goal and chasing it.
It like everything I've watched him do, I'm like, I am shocked. Like when I'm looking, there's that number 39, I think it's Mallet. He's on the line with Kopitar. I go, that doesn't make sense. Is Kempe hurt? Then, here's Kempe picking up the puck behind his own net. Why is our best offensive? That'd be like, okay, Connor, we need a goal. But what we're going to do in the third period, we're going to have you play defense with Nurse, okay? So that you can make outlet passes, and you're going to play a 2-on-1 against. No, your best player plays. Now the thing that Kempe can do, and he showed it, he doesn't, because you're not going to sneak behind defensemen. You're not going to late in a game, but he can beat defensemen. And he's done it in this series time and time again. Let him get going on the wing, hit him in stride, and he will walk around your defenseman. Not when he's playing defense, he's not, because he's now going to have to go back there and try to make plays from the back end. It's horrible. Again, it is absolutely horrible coaching on the part of Jim Hiller and the LA Kings.
All right. So we talked about the Evander Kane goal. Now we can get a little bit more into the Oiler depth, and because they're able to roll these lines, like Arvidsson was a top 6 forward for a bunch of this year, though he didn't produce as such, has been for a number of years in the NHL. 4th line player with the Oiler lines completely assembled. He's a 4th line player, but that 4th line, Struddy, highly usable, still able to contribute, and Arvidsson is the one that gets things going. Puts the shot off the pads, and Janmark, again, a couple of goals all year. He's got a couple in this series. So a depth line comes through in a big way, and, just sort of shows that Chris Knobloch was right to lean into the whole group instead of just going super top heavy.
Well, those 2 players, Arvidsson and Paul Colson, were second-line players for good chunks of this year. Now they're 4th-line players playing with Janmark. And they got to play a lot at the end of the year. And I think that makes a difference, guys. I think that we saw some of the big guys out, and these guys were able to get their games going and feel good about themselves. But I love that play by Arvidsson. Now let's give that guy credit. He comes down And Brownie, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he was shooting a score. He shot it right off the blocker, and Kempe just punches that thing right out. And he got the janitor going back door, clean up aisle 7, and he gets there and just hammers that in the back door. And I think from their reaction, Brownie, I got the feeling it was intentional from Arvidsson, but I didn't score a lot. So,
well, he'd be putting it into a position to create chaos in net. He's not going to beat Kemper from that distance. Kemper was stopping everything tonight. So Arvidsson is trying to put it in a position that there's a rebound. I'm not sure he can plan exactly where it's going to go, but he's trying to get a rebound because he knows both Janmark and Podkolzin are going to the net. All year long, I've said Arvidsson and Podkolzin aren't second-line players, and they're not. But they can be effective fourth-line players. And what you see on a play like that, Arvidsson's not shooting that if he's with Leon Draisaitl. Arvidsson is slowing over the blue line, trying to find Leon to pass to. But because he's not out with Leon, he feels, okay, I can shoot from anywhere. Podkolzin just does what he does. He drives the net. Him driving the net forced Brant Clark to look at him, and Janmark's wide open. Some players get better come playoff time. Mattias Janmark's one of those players. He was very good tonight. And here's the thing. Game 1, the Oilers' best player got 4 points, and they had 5 goals on a Vezina nominee and lost. Tonight, their best players were shut out. They got the empty net goal, but they were shut out. And the Vezina goalie stood on his head, and the Oilers find a way to win. This is what we saw last year with the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. Different players would step up at different moments, and they would find ways to win.
All right, Zuby, unbelievable numbers, over 1,200, and it's 12:20 a.m. here in Edmonton. Did I see someone just checking in from Norway, Zuby?
Yeah, we got Brian Spiele from Norway. We had somebody up here. I did mark it. Marty Stanowich. Hey, guys, greetings from Melbourne, Australia. First-time poster, long-time listener. Agree with Brownie that LA coaching is killing this team. So you got fans in Melbourne there, Brownie.
Well, Marty is a very intelligent man. I can tell. He's a fantastic hockey fan. I love Marty.
Struds,
got some
don't.
shrimp on the bobby
Don't
down there,
do
Marty.
it. Yes. Don't do it, Struds.
Love the setup.
Good day, Mike.
Shush. Rodney Dangerfield is the only impersonation / accent / anything you're allowed to attempt on the show from now on.
Marty probably thought it was Australian. I've got a little Australian blood in me, Marty.
All right. Let's get to our Relentless Player of the Night, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. If you're looking to hire entry-level staff for your company, UCAN trains youth in pre-employment skills to help get them ready, willing, and able to join your team. Check out www.ucan.ca for more information. Proud, as always, to have UCAN as our charitable partner here on the show. We are monthly donors here at Got Your Back and encourage you to do so as well, if you can. Struds, this is not going to be an individual. Struds has a big group of people that are all going to share in the Relentless Player of the Night. He's got a big group. It's going to be like the Oilers forecheck, or everyone that was on the ice with 2 minutes left, or it's not going to be a single person.
The last word of the Ryan Rishaug, guys. Thanks for tuning in. No, I'm going at Darcy Kemper. Honestly, I thought
You just changed it. You changed it. You just changed it right now.
Don't worry about what I'm changing or not. That was on there, and he was amazing. 40+ saves. He made, and it was one of those nights. Sometimes goalies have 30, 40 saves, and it was pretty routine. There's those massive saves. Like I'm thinking Bouchard on the 2-on-1, just a beautiful save. Corey Perry going to his backhand after toe drag, kind of hit him. But there's so many good saves that were just like, oh my God. So he was literally relentless tonight, Darcy Kemper.
This was a game this was a 6-1, 7-1 game dressed up as a 2-1 game. There was no contest. This thing should have been 3-0 minimum at the end of the first period. Darcy Kemper gave life to an LA King team. This is why the LA Kings felt they had a chance to win this series, because of Darcy Kemper. And he did everything he could tonight. They found nothing up front. I think they're tired, but Darcy Kemper kept in the game, and is the one thing that may scare you on Thursday night if Kemper can replicate that type of game, because the Edmonton Oilers are rolling right now. And the only thing I could see stopping them from winning Thursday night is Kemper having another one of these ones.
Brownie, what did you think of McDavid and Draisaitl tonight, who were put together on a line? Knobloch, we talked about it earlier, with a little head fake at morning skate, little head fake in warm-up, and ends up with the big guys together. They don't end up with either of the first 2 goals, but what did you think of their night?
Fine. I think sometimes we get caught up in looking at 2 or 3 point nights to judge them. I mean, that would be their baseline. Anything less than that, ooh, they struggled. I thought the LA Kings were very physical with them and had to be, but they did tilt the ice. And any other night, they probably 2 or 3 of those go in the back of the net. But I thought the LA Kings did a good job, and frankly, Darcy Kemper did an incredible job. But it was a very physical night. The LA Kings, they made life as hard as they possibly could for Leon and Connor. But the difference was the Oilers have depth players that were able to come through tonight, and the LA Kings didn't.
Struds, any thought from you on the big guys?
Yeah, I thought they were good. Like they played, good minutes, and they were heavy and making plays, and they could have had some goals for sure. There's no doubt about it. I think that the Kings need to focus on getting to Oilers D more so than what they're. And I get it. You got to pay attention to Connor Leon. I'm not want to be dismissive of that, but yeah. I think the Oilers D are quite comfortable, even if Connor and Leon are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, how many times have we seen Evan Bouchard run in this series? Can you remember?
No, it's not happening.
No. So, I mean, to me, if I'm playing against the Edmonton Oilers, I'm getting physical. I mean, Bouchard's got 4 goals in the series, something like that. Every time he touches the puck, I hit him. I finish every check. But they haven't done that. The Oilers have been the more physical of the 2 teams. And it shows because look how fatigued Doughty and Edmondson and Anderson and they look tired. And the Edmonton Oilers have been pounding them every single shift. I mean, Hyman had 10 more hits tonight. And didn't he have 12 hits the other night?
Yeah, 22 hits in 2 games.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That's from your 54 goal score from a year ago. So that's pretty amazing.
If you're a Kings player here and your coach saying we got to play tighter, and that means you play more time in our own zone, and the team have to turn around and go get the puck more. I'd just be like, buddy, we can't play tighter. We got to go.
I'm changing. I don't think they should fire Hiller after the season. I think they put a different coach on for next game. There you go.
Some people agreed with you on the stream, Brownie. That's been suggested on the stream.
Yeah. That was Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. All right.
Before we move on, Sugar, I just want to shout out a couple of other cool things on the stream. We got Vern here from the Philippines.
Oh, cool.
Oops, that came in and out quickly. Sorry about that there, Vern. We got, this is great because it rhymes. We got Joyce Wong from Hong Kong. Love that. And also from one of the more, chiming in from one of the more exotic locales, Larzy Prods from his bathroom. Currently on the can listening to my favorite podcast. Thanks, Larzy.
Good info.
It's great. It's good detail,
Didn't
Larzy.
need that visual. Didn't need that.
Wash the hands.
Oh, we also
emoji there.
We also got Trevor in Indonesia. Amazing. Jeez. We are as global as ever.
International.
Yeah,
international. How close are we to our 2 smacks and a yip?
Oh, we're 9 away. 9 away. We're at 3:40.
9 away. All right, let's get to break. Let's see if we can get there during the break. Pound away, and when we come back, you will have a 3-person 2 claps and a yip yop from the 3 hosts here on Got Your Back. So quick break, and we'll have the big moment when we come back.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolanddentistry.com.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
Dallas Scarlett says Struddy might strangle Schauger if he keeps disrespecting the Woos. I'm going to try and do it properly. We asked you to get us there, and I believe we have, so I will pay it its proper respect. We got brownie points, though, on deck, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're looking for a delicious way to support your team, club, or cause, Hamel's Premium Jerky offers an easy and profitable fundraising opportunity. Support your club and support Canada with this Canadian-owned business. Raise funds with a high-quality product everybody loves. Contact him today at albertajerky.com. We asked, we received. Zuby, what are we at right now?
We smashed it. We're at 383 here. So
what?
Holy snap! Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. Okay, Struds. I'm gonna try and do this the right way. We got to give the people what we promised. So, how fast do we clap? Just is it like 1,000, 2 1,000,
No.
or what is it?
God, this is so hard. It's like it's so disrespectful. It's 2 claps and woo. Woo! That's what you do.
Okay.
That's just everyone knows the tempo.
Okay.
is
Are we
same,
going
like-
on 3? So is it going to be 1, 2, 3, go?
No.
And then 2
I'll
claps.
say let's have 2 claps and move for the stream. That's how you do it. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here we
So
go.
go ahead. Okay.
Let's get 2 claps and move for the stream. Woo!
Woo! All right. There you have it. We got to
What
set
were
a
we
new goal.
wooing for? Why were we wooing?
Likes. We're barking for likes, Brownie.
Oh, cool. I missed
We're not
that.
barking.
We're
You're just
dancing for
celebrating.
our supper here. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
What's the new total, Zuby? Set a new goal. And there was a good suggestion on the stream, Zuby.
yeah, we're at 393, and JL chimed in and said, "How about 500 likes?" And Struddy wishes everyone a happy New Year. I think that's
Nice.
You willing,
That's
Struts?
Very nice.
That's a compromise.
in April.
That goes against everything I stand for. Right? That is 5:30 and I'll do it. 5:30 and I'll do it.
5:30? Okay, 5:30.
Yeah.
5:30
and
and
I'll wish
Struds
everyone a
will
happy new year.
he'll sell his soul.
Yeah,
Brownie.
that's the number.
Brownie points, buddy. Brownie points.
All right, let's start with four brownie points to the Carolina Hurricanes. They this year endured the drama of a Rantanen trade. Then they were rebuffed by Rantanen signing long-term. Then they had to trade him again, and many thought the trade didn't turn out well for them and may have let their Stanley Cup window close. But a Sebastian Aho double OT goal sends Carolina as the first National Hockey League team to the second round. They were the first team in the NHL to get to 4 victories. I got 3 brownie points to the Vegas Golden Knights video coach. With 1 minute left to play in the game, challenged a mini wild goal for offside and was right. Instead of falling behind 3-2 in the series, Vegas wins the challenge, then wins the game in overtime. The offside was by an eyelash, but it was the right call and will most likely earn the video coach a nice meal in mini. As Vegas goes up 3-2, they have a chance to win their series, I believe, the same night as the Edmonton Oilers on Thursday. I got 10 huge brownie points to Evander Kane, who after missing 10 months of hockey has come back and been a huge difference maker. He scored 2 goals in the series. Both goals tied the game. Tonight he had 1 goal, 5 shots, 4 hits, including a huge hit on Kempe, and then another huge block late when the LA Kings pulled their goalie. He has been very, very good. I think better than any of us had expected him to be this early in the playoffs. I got 3 brown. Oh, actually, I'll go to this one first. I got 2 brownie points for Oilers' 4th liner Matthias Janmark. He only had 2 goals all season, but he now has 2 goals already in this series. The LA Kings were able to slow down 97-29 tonight, but they had no answer for number 13. And my last one tonight, I have 3 brownie points to Edmonton Oilers goalie Calvin Pickard. Wasn't as busy as the guy on the other end, but Pickard came up with a couple huge saves at the right time, including a huge save on a Kempe breakaway. Pickard, Schauger, was even better than good enough tonight. And those are my brownie points.
He was definitely good tonight. More than good enough tonight by a mile. All right, good stuff. Brownie, bringing the heat with brownie points. I was a good chirp on me, Brownie, but I will also point out I still retain all of my brownie points because for a second night you forgot to take them away from me. That was brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Okay, going to call a quick audible here. We'll put Struddy's World on hold for just a second. I want to get to our HSE core adjustment segment because we want to talk a little bit about what we can expect from each side moving forward. So that is brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they have your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program meeting all legislation or core requirements. They support clients' operations every step of the way. Visit hsecor.com. Okay, Struds, I don't think I have the clip that angered you so much from Jim Hillier, but he was asked, what do you do moving forward as the series shifts back to Edmonton? Here's some of his thoughts.
Well, I think we've had, a pretty good season to this part, and guys have put in a massive effort thus far. So you got to go win a game. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but it goes up and down. Like Dennis said, from the 29-second mark till now, it doesn't look very good. We got to go win a hockey game. They took it away from us.
All right, they took it away from us. So, not what we think he's going to do, Brownie. I'll give you a chance. What do you think he should do next game?
Well, he's got to play his. Honestly, I'd start my fourth line if I were him, and have them go be physical. I certainly wouldn't play Kempe on the back end. I get in on the forecheck. What the first couple of games, they were all over the forecheck of the Edmonton Oilers. Like they were creating turnovers. They were getting pucks in deep, and they were flying. But in all honesty, I don't know if they've got the energy now, especially from the back end. One thing they were really good at the beginning of this series is the D-man would pass the puck up to the winger, and then the far D-man would start to jump up in the play, and they would hit him. And that guy would carry the puck up. And now they came up with numbers. Those two D-men, or the D-men now are just too tired, and they're not jumping up in the play anymore. And you're seeing a lot of, even line rushes. So it's 3 versus 3 or 2 versus 2. They're not catching the Oilers that way. I don't know if there's much he can do now, because I think he's wasted their best efforts. And I think he's allowed the Edmonton Oilers to find their way into a series that really, after the first 4 games, they weren't the better team. The LA Kings were. And he made some big blunders that has now awoken an Edmonton Oilers team. I don't know if there's anything they can combat it with. If the Oilers came out and played like they did tonight, I'm not sure the LA Kings can match that. But I do believe if I'd play my fourth line, they were physical. Tell them, say, okay, first shift, throw the puck in, run Evan Bouchard. Throw the puck in, run Darnell Nurse. Now, I mean, it's easier said than done, but they have taken all physicality out of their offense. There's been no hitting of the Edmonton Oilers defense, and those guys have had a very easy series.
I hope Jim Hiller's not listening to this, because I'm going to solve his problems. I'm going as radical as wearing leather pants to a July 1st birthday or July 1st party. I would suggest this.
Radical?
Oh, it's radical when it's hot. Hot in leather pants. It's not a recipe. You don't want to be around it. So what I'm saying here,
just say it. Stop laughing at your joke and just say your thing.
Oh, Brownie's laughing. I'm laughing at Brownie.
He's funny
today,
at your own joke.
He's funny. So what I would do is I would
Mm-hmm.
split up their D pairs and put some speed on all of them. So I'd put Spence, Doughty, and Clark on different ones, and that'd give you Mikey Anderson, Gavrikov, and Joel Edmondson. and I would tell my boys, those 3 guys, get up the ice. Get your ass up that ice. Put some pressure on these guys. Brownie kind of touched on it there, but use your speed. Get in there. And because, what was that? Oh, he scored. Brent Clark scored in the power play, right? Remember early in the series when Malma didn't seal the guy off the wall? So he can get up there, put some pressure, get some mobility and some fresh, quote unquote, younger legs, if you will, and unused legs. Now, not Doughty, but the other 2 guys. Because right now they're trying to keep those 4 out there to defend. Well, they had tons of chances against tonight, tons. So why not go play in the other end? When they're in the other end, they can't shoot on your goalie. So because Kemper's faced quite a bit of rubber the last number of periods. I'm not saying he's bagged, but it starts to wear you down there as well. So I would change it up. I'd put my 6 D men out and I'm rolling them out there. Go and play. Gavrikov, Edmondson, and who else did I say, guys?
Mike
Spence. Yeah.
But why? I don't understand why they don't play Spence. The kid can skate and he makes plays and he jumps up in the play. Brant Clark, the same thing. He likes carrying the puck. He's got speed and he will give you. He'll give you problems because now there's a guy jumping up into the play. Gavrikov can't, and Edmondson can't jump up in the play anymore. They're bagged. Doughty will try, but he's not doing it as much as he did earlier in the series. But they've got these 2 guys, and again, this is the thing about these guys. Clark and Spence played 16 and a half minutes a night all season long. They were regulars all year long, played 16 and a half minutes a night. One was plus 23, one was plus 13. They're good defensemen. So the fact that he has completely abandoned them in this series against a team that can skate makes no sense to me. So I'm 100% on your side, Struds. Play them. Because you know what? Everything else you've been doing so far hasn't worked. So why not go and try and do something else different? And as you said, leather pant radical and see if you can turn the series around.
I like it. Good suggestions from you guys. This was notable to me yesterday. Darcy Kemper's media availability. When you start hearing things like this from your players, they're paying attention.
When they turn it on, they've put us on our heels a little bit. And I think, we got to make sure that we look at it and even when we have the lead, just keep playing the same way and trying to get on the forecheck and get the offensive zone cycles going and take it to them a little bit instead of sitting back too much.
Well, wow. I mean, that's right at the core of what Jim Hillier has been bobbing and weaving his way around post-game questions about, Brownie. That was pretty on the nose.
Well, so in the first 4 games, the Kings dominated the first 40 minutes and built up leads. And then they came out in the third period and all of a sudden they're standing on their own side of center. And Struds, you know as well as I do, there are different types of neutral zone alignments. And one of the things they used to have was I can't think of it right now, but you come out of the zone, you push the guy to one side, and then before he gets to center, you jump him. So he either has to ice the puck or he forces a pass. And the Kings aren't even doing that. They're standing on their side of center, and the Oilers defensemen are skating it all the way up to the red line and then dumping it in. It makes literally they're saying, "Come on into our zone, come on, we'll hurry it up for you. Come on, and go into our zone." It makes no sense. You are giving the best offensive players in the world easy access to your zone, and when they dump it in, sometimes the Kings get the puck, but all they do is flip it out and they let you bring it in again. So eventually you get control of the puck. So Darcy Kemper would have a very good view of that because he's spending the whole time the puck's around him.
That's got to be frustrating,
It's
He's got to be sitting in there going, "Go get him! What are you doing? Why are you still go get him?"
We know the strength of the Oilers is their offensive players. So why not force those guys to play in their own zone? And in those first 4 games, Struds, it's not as though the Oilers, when the Kings were forechecking, it's not as though the Oilers were getting 2-on-1s and breakaways. The Kings, you can still forecheck and be a good defensive team. And they weren't. They completely abandoned that. And eventually, Jim Hiller has allowed the Edmonton Oilers to get into the series, Struds. And I'm not sure that the LA Kings can recover.
Yeah, Jim Hiller, as some people call him Jim Hillier. There's definitely what the challenge I think is when you go back
sometimes.
Is it Hillier?
No, They call that in LA. They call them that. Let's not get confused on that. But so what I'm seeing here, Brownie, your point's really well made. That I think a good neutral zone trap, you want to force the D to not be able to get the red line and dump it in.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to confront them before on their side of the red line, so they can't dump it in. How many times have we seen Darnell Nurse skate all the way up and just hard rim it all the way in? If you get him even 4 or 5 feet before the red line, now he can't. If he does, he ices it, or it's a turnover because he panics. And that's, I think, the piece they're missing there is they're sitting so far back. It's like 4 people sitting on a picnic table, right? They got to get out and get above.
Yeah. If you want to trap, but then you're forcing turnovers. They're not even trying to create turnovers in the neutral zone. They're allowing the Oilers to come in. They are just preparing to defend. And you're not going to beat the Edmonton Oilers if you're just defending.
Tighter.
Joe Dokes says Struddy really is the king of laughing at his own jokes and declaring himself handsome. Yes. Leads the league in self-declarations of being handsome. Struds, you give yourself relentless handsome guy constantly. Constantly you're talking about I'm the best looking guy on the screen right now. I'm the best looking this. I'm the best looking that. It's constant.
Wow. It's not like this is The Bachelor. There's a lot to compete with.
All right, roll the animation. Time for Struddy's World. Oh, great.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good. All right, time to put the big guy in the spotlight where he loves to be. Struddy's World brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. When you become part of the Timberhouse family, you might be surprised how close you'll get to the people in the process. A lot of builders try and keep the customer at arm's length once the build starts. Not Timberhouse. If you want to check in on things, stop by the job site. They're happy to welcome you. Go see the crew at head office. Have some of that great coffee of theirs and stop in. Have a chat with them. Home building, you are the most important person in that process. You'll be treated as such. Visit timberhouse.ca. Handsome, over to you.
Thank you for that. And I'm going to be a little bit negative here. So the Oilers get the 3-1. The goal got 3-1. Nuge scores the empty netter. And then they put out a line that included Connor Brown. The puck gets put out of the Oilers zone. Connor Brown gets it. And he enters the Kings zone. There's about 55 seconds, I think, left at this point. He tries to beat a D-man one-on-one, gets stopped, and the puck goes all the way back to their end, and then it's in their end for quite a bit of time. Now, can they score 2 goals in 50 seconds? Unlikely. But in that moment, Connor Brown can't try to beat a guy one-on-one. It is the opposite of what you want to do. He should take it down below the goal line, behind the net, hang on to it, grind off 10, 15, 20 seconds, frustrate the other team, and just slow them down. It is a small detail, but it's an important deal because he might be out there one time when they're protecting a 1-goal lead and not a 2-goal lead. So I'm nitpicking here, but I saw that and I almost spilled my sushi all over my shirt. I was so frustrated. So that is something they can't do, boys. And Brownie, you know what I'm talking about. In that moment, you can't even think about that play.
No, you're right. We saw the Oilers score 2 goals this playoff with their goalie pulled. Wasn't it the Vancouver Canucks that scored 3 in the last minute of a game at the end of the regular season, or they had it against one of the two? So it is possible. Just you want good habits, you want good details, and it's simple. Carry the puck right into the corner and stand there. Hold it under your foot, waste as much time. Again, the Kings probably weren't coming back in the game, and they didn't, obviously. But good habits. And know what else? Coaching staff take notice of things like that too. And that will be talked about in the coaching room. Okay, look at this move. You can't do that. So the very next time you need someone on the ice, well, maybe he goes with a different one. So yeah, 100% on that, Struds.
Yeah, great point by you, Struds. And it was interesting to see some of the deployment late in the game. So when Evander Kane came back into the lineup, one of the things I talked about that I was going to be paying attention to was kind of how his hands were, how his decision-making was on the wall in his own end. That's sometimes I think where players under pressure on the wall those can be costly mistakes. How is all that going to look? Well, not only has he been good and dependable in making good decisions, Brownie, he was one of the ones that got the nod with a few minutes left when the Kings were in the window of being ready to pull their goaltender. And they had Kane out there knowing he was going to be out there in a shorthanded situation.
And he's earned it. He's earned the opportunity. He's earned the trust. And I think it was Kempe that came in, and Kane, big block, got in the way.
Huge.
Got his whole body in the way. I mean, that gets through. I mean, whether or not it beats Pickard, there's going to be chaos in the blue paint. So, and it's not one of those ones where, we're playing San Jose with 3 games to go in the season. We'll play everyone in the last minute. This was a huge game. So that was a big moment for the team, and certainly showed Kane Struds that he's earned the trust of a coaching staff in a very short amount of time. I'm not sure Kane plays that in that position last year in the playoffs, but here he is this year after 10 months off.
Crazy. He's so energized. He looks like he just wants to do everything right. It's been incredible. I will keep saying it. He and Klingberg are just 2 incredible stories in this first, 5 games, boys, of the playoffs.
Noel Rinsky says Frederick had a couple of shifts with 97-29. When he's healthy, it will happen. So Trent Frederick getting some footing underneath him, skating incredibly well compared to where he was when he first got back into the lineup. The Oilers are getting healthier. The Kings have missed a big opportunity. All right, Brownie, that is your night, my friend. Thank you so much for this. And we look forward to chatting with you after game number 6, my friend.
Bye-bye.
All right. That is Rob Brown, and that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. Before we get to break, let's rip through our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. It's a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Struds, a few other games on the docket tonight.
Yep, let's stick with the Pacific Division. The Wild lose 3-2 to the Golden Knights. So that series now 3-2 for Vegas. Brett Howden scores in OT to get that win for them. The Devils lose to the Hurricanes. They're out. Some injuries. I mean, that's tough. I think this was inevitable. Rishaug, this was always going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the one that just, it's incredible. And I don't even want to pretend to be happy, but the Maple Leafs lose 4-0 to the Senators tonight, and they'll play game 5-6 on Thursday, right before the Oilers do. So the Pills got a little tighter. Yeah, the Pills
tightening
got tight
up a little bit, hey? Like Austin Matthews, -4. Matthew Nyes, -4. Mitch Marner, -4. Yikes.
And should be said, that was in Toronto. So you know that the Canadian Tire Arena is going to be absolutely on fire Thursday night. Brady Tkachuk's going to be on fire. Could we see a Game 7 Saturday night? I dare to dream. Oh. Battle Alberta or Ontario. Dare to dream. Christmas come early. Christmas will come early for see Game 7.
Suspension handed down in the league, and some news out of Vancouver. That's taking a lap coming up next, followed by Ask Us Anything. We got a fantastic number, still well over 1,000 here on the YouTube stream. So if you got questions for Struds or myself or Zuby, fire them into the chat. Doesn't just have to be hockey related. Anything you want to ask, anything on your mind, fire it our way. And hey, maybe somebody new on the stream, someone who isn't a regular contributor. Let's try that. If you've never done it before, throw something into the chat right now, and we'll try and get to you if we see a fresh name. Lots more ahead on the pod. Stay with us here on Got Your Back.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today. All right, time to take a couple of laps, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. So get a resume together, email it off to trades@acon.com. That's trades@acon.com. They're one of Canada's original industrial contractors, building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada, and you can be part of it. Once again, the resume to trades@acon.com. Struddy, let's start in Vancouver, sir, where, as many expected, Rick Tocchet will be moving along.
Rick Tocchet did not accept the deal and doesn't want to be a part of that organization anymore, so he stepped away. Today was announced by the team. This is a massive story for the Vancouver Canucks in the NHL. JT Miller, a massive battler, competitor, left the team, went to the Rangers, and now the leader who got this team in a good position also is leaving the team. So two really highly motivated, competitive people have left that organization. That means they have to find a new coach, start over again. What does it mean for Quinn Hughes, who's just a couple of years away from unrestricted free agency? Things are unraveling in a hurry in Vancouver right now, Shoggy.
All right, I'm interested. I'm going to ask the Blominator a direct question. What did you think of what Jim Rutherford had to say today about trying to get a hold of Quinn Hughes? How did you think that looked? How did you think that sounded? And if you have not heard it yet, here's Jimmy Rutherford's press conference where he was basically asked how Hughes would be feeling about this whole situation. Zuby?
Yeah, well, I hope he's playing golf because he usually returns my calls right away, and I called him within a half an hour after I talked to Rick. So he hasn't called me back yet. Knowing how he feels about the coach and that he's a sensitive guy, I would suspect that he feels like I do, that we're disappointed. But knowing the maturity of Quinn, he will make the adjustment necessary. But they did have a very strong relationship, a very good one. And Quinn had a lot of respect for him. And Talk had a lot of respect for Quinn. So there will definitely be an adjustment there.
Okay, Struds. So a very transparent answer there. He will be heavily criticized for that. Basically told the world that their best player is ghosting him as he's, trying to reach out to talk about a situation everyone knows he's going to be pissed about. What do you make of that?
I wouldn't have said I hadn't talked to my captain for sure. It's just information that don't need to be shared. And I think Jim can be at times a little too wordy. There's just some things that, nope, I'm going to talk to the leadership group and we're going to get through this and and I will solve the next, or we collectively, Alvin and I will solve the next coaching. Because now it seems like, the narrative's now like, well, he's not talking to me. He doesn't want to talk to me. He's pissed. And who knows what Quinn is feeling? Maybe who knows what he's doing. But the fact is, that it doesn't look good. If you're in that room and you're like looking around like, so this guy doesn't want to stay here. They offer him a good contract. And our most competitive player, he's also gone. So what look around the room, what's left behind here? It's a real problem. Real problem, Sean.
There's Blominator chiming in. I did not like the whole he's not picking up thing. Think of the awkwardness the next time the media interview Hughes. Also asking if he's leaving to play with his brothers. That's unfair. I didn't hear that portion of it, so I'm not sure what Blommer's talking about there. I'm not sure what the context is there, Matt. You can throw that to us if you want, and we can add that in. But Struds, it's just tumult. It's upheaval. It's tumultuous. It's noisy. There's discontent. There's, expectation and hope that just was obliterated this year. It is a big boiling cauldron of messiness out there. And now this decision, like, who are you bringing in that is better equipped to handle it? I don't know, man. This next coaching hire, they better nail this hiring to have let this guy, well, I guess he wanted to leave, but for this to have happened.
Well, not to mention, they got to figure out Ellis Pettersson and his alleged needing to get a little bit better condition, right? So that's a massive one there. It just feels very unsettled there, and that's unsettling as a player, and it should be really unsettling for a fan.
Matt Blom says, Shoggy, I'm saying Hughes hasn't been interviewed by the media since Rutherford also said he wants to play with his brothers.
Right.
So basically, Hughes is going to face 2 really awkward questions soon. Yeah, and I may have missed the full context of what Rutherford said there. Okay, Struds, anything else on that, or you want to move on?
Yeah, just last time, Quinn Hughes shouldn't have to answer those. He didn't bring them up. That's the GM or the president bringing them up, right? And so basically the context was, we can't control what Quinn wants to do, but maybe he wants to go play there, or we could bring both players here. It's just too wordy. I don't understand why you'd say that. But anyways, the guy's won before, so maybe he knows what he's doing. But right now, it's hard to understand the path he's trying to take. The Panthers, they were happy to get Aaron Ekblad back after a 20-game suspension for PEDs. Well, last night he struck again and he was suspended. This time not for PEDs, but for a forearm shiver to the head of Brendan Hagel. Hagel left the game, didn't come back, and today Ekblad got 2 games. I think this was fair. The ref on the ice, or one of the refs on the ice, was looking right at it, decided that wasn't a penalty, which was a bit of a surprise as I was watching the game live. And now Ekblad's out 2 games, and Tampa down 3-2. It's not a bad thing to have him out, because hopefully it makes it a little bit easier for them to try to score.
Ref was looking right at it. I mean, you can see in the one replay, he's like this. He's just like, he's like looking. You can see from behind, staring right at it, and nothing.
Yeah, Jacob Trouba special. Now, I used to throw those, but I'd always try to get the guy right in the chest. And I don't think I ever struck the guy in the head, not that I remember. But it was always like, you just kind of bring your forearm straight through and just get him right in the chest, and would knock the guy back. But this was straight to the head. And
Sean H. chiming in saying shouldn't be 2 games. But here's what I wonder. I mean, suspension history. I mean, the guy just took a 20-gamer, or what was it, 25 games? And that has to factor in, I would think, to suspensions, wouldn't it? I don't know if you get a clean slate because it was something off ice related and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it feels like that's a 1-game playoff suspension.
It does. But I don't think you can compound the interest, if so to say, because it's a PED than to this. Like, it feels like 2 separate things. But I was surprised it's 2 games. But that's a pretty big, significant deal, because that's the last 2 games.
That's what I'm saying.
Series. Yeah,
is they're factoring in the previous suspension?
Yeah. Maybe
and that's
Hagel
what tipped it,
right?
Yeah,
Hagel, because it's been a physical series, man. You think about the Hagel hit, you think about Kachuk's hit, you think about this Ekblad hit. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon. Zuby, before we get to Ask Us Anything, why don't you hop in and wrap up the De Boers Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll, buddy?
Yes, let's do that, shall we? Oh my goodness, over 900 votes on the poll tonight. The question was, who has been the most impactful Oiler in the last 3 games? Evander Kane winning. This is a pretty even vote. Evander Kane 34%, Evan Bouchard 24%, Calvin Pickard 22%, McDavid 17%. So a couple of write-in votes, like I said, for Draisaitl, Klingberg, but pretty even vote. So people feeling like there's lots to choose from. Good news for the team at this point.
All right, good stuff. Where are we at on our likes too, or our thumbs up there?
Oh, we're at 469, so we're still 60 shy of Struddy's arbitrary 530.
Okay,
I'll leave it.
I don't know.
I'll leave it. If it's not tonight, any night we get over 530, I will wish everyone a happy New Year.
Okay. Well, I think we got a late push in us. We still got over 1,000 people. So for any of you, I mean, just it'll be worth it, because Struds is going to choke on this Happy New Year, and it'll be a big finish. It'll be the last thing in the show. We're leaving it right to the very last minute. He will wrap up the pod with a giant Happy New Year to everybody. So we can still do it. For now, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. If your mortgage renewal date is just around the corner or coming up in 25, don't just accept the bank's first offer. With the right strategy and timing, you can take advantage of rates dropping, save you thousands, and keep more money in your pocket Why pay the banks more than you need to? Get expert advice, smarter opinions. Contact Maria Gallus today. mortgagesbymaria.ca. Zuby, let her rip, buddy.
Okay, well, I don't want to be negative, but there is some people on the stream saying maybe this is being talked about like it's over a little bit too much. Mike Tyson says, not sure why everyone is so sure that we win. And that I would follow that up with Steve French saying, do you guys think the Kings can beat the Oilers 2 in a row? Have you seen anything that makes you believe they've got it in them?
Yeah, the first 2 games of the series would be what I would point to. Struds.
Yeah. And I'd also highlight Kemper's performance. Like tonight was unreal. He was unreal tonight. Can he steal a game? He almost stole one tonight.
Does it feel like they dodged a bullet though in the game he could have stolen? They managed to find 2 in an empty netter. I mean,
the Oilers, 100%. I think you just nailed it there, Zubes. But I mean, anything can happen in the playoff series. It feels like though the Oilers are trending up and Vegas is trending down. Now, does it carry from one game to the next? It did tonight. The Oilers had 2 great last periods, right? Period 3, period 4 of game 4, and then all 3 periods. So they've played, how many is that? 5 excellent periods, 5 where they've dominated. Like, what are the shots? It would be, what are the shots say? 44, so it'd be 70. In the last 5 periods, like 78 to, what do they have to say? Like 30. So they've 2-1 shots the last 5 periods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Roger B checking in with the stat that I hopefully is accurate. He said Klingberg and Wallman shots were 26-6 when they were on the ice. Schauger, you've always got something on that nearby, but they were good. What did you guys think? What did you think of that pairing ultimately, Struddy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they've been a nice pairing together. I like the step of moving Wallman from the power penalty kill and putting Bouchard out there on the penalty kill. I think that's the right move. He just, sometimes you just go Phil Funk. Because I think he had 3 or 4 goals against him, like 8 minutes played. That's fairly significant amount. So, I think that it's been good, and they can both skate, and they're both pretty good puck movers.
He said 16-4.
He said 26-6. I thought.
Okay, 26-6. So what I've got here: John Klingberg and Jake Wallman. What I'm looking at though is even strength. They're 5-on-5. So yeah, shots for 16, shots against 4. 77% of the shot share when those 2 were on the ice. John Klingberg and Jake Wallman when they were out there together.
For a couple of these things, forgive me if we've already talked about them. You could just shut me down. But Express 98 pointing out, how about Bouchard saving that goal off Kopitar in the third? Yeah. Saved the game. Did we talk? That was an incredible play.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it. That was a big moment, right? Gets his stick in there and just scrapes it off of his stick and goes the other way, right? And that's a huge play. And even the penalty kill. He's out there. He's looking good. He's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where am I going next? Let's keep talking about the defense, even though I'm going to ask Schauger to answer this one first. Eric L., and I think he's a first-time commenter when you asked for some to chime in. Schauger, he said, I'm curious how you guys feel about Darnell Nurse's game tonight.
Yeah, I think I picked up a few times on the YouTube stream, Zuby, that he was taking a little bit of heat from some people.
Yeah, there was.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what the thought process was there. I'm just going to grab this real quick. Where is he? There he is, right there. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was fine. I don't think that. I think the whole blue line played pretty well tonight. They didn't give up a lot. Like Darnell Nurse plays a ton, and the Oilers gave up very little through the bulk of that game. So you have to be willing to give him credit for that. Now, I will say again, on a night where, there's a lot of offense that the Oilers are putting up and not giving up a lot against. Again, his numbers with Bouchard just aren't great. He and Bouchard out there together, like they played 946 Struds, and look at the way this game went, how sort of lopsided it was. And that's all strengths. Yeah, I mean, shot attempts, they only had 47% of the shot attempts on this night at even strength. Yeah, and that's not their numbers together continue to not be great. Yeah, same thing, 47% at even strength of the shot
Yeah,
attempts.
and I'm not sure why that is. You think in theory they should be able to dial it in together, but I think that sometimes people want these fantastic plays from D-men. I think that steady is good, and it's okay if you play X number of minutes as a D-man and you just get the job done, and you have a low event night, offensively and for sure defensively if you're Darnell Nurse.
Perry the Kingslayer just chimed in here, also a new commenter, I think, and he said,
I'm right in the middle of Game of Thrones right now, Zuby, so that Kingslayer thing, I'm feeling that. I'm into season 5.
This is an interesting question. Who do you feel is the player on the Kings side that is underperforming the most, Struddy?
Ooh. I'm grabbing those stats real quick here, if you want them.
I would say the last 3 games, a player I'd previously pumped up a massive amount was Quinton Byfield. And his game isn't at the same level it was. Now he is 21 or 22. But that'd be one guy I think has slipped because his impact on his first 2 games was, heroic. What are you seeing, Shogger?
I think that's fair. Like he's -5 in the series. He's playing 22 minutes and 50 seconds on average per night. He scored a couple of goals. But on a night like tonight, they need him to tilt the ice the other way. He's one of the guys with the size and speed to grab some momentum back, to grab some gameplay back. And, I think that's fair to expect of him, even though he's still a relatively young player. So, not a lot of them were underachieving through the first 2 to 3 games, quite frankly. So it's a smaller sample size to kind of, get critical. But I think that's probably fair.
Logan Prevost, first-time commenter. This is an interesting one, too. Have you ever seen a team get outplayed so handedly and end the game with a power play advantage? We talk about the team having the puck, getting hit more. You would think typically when it's that one-sided, you'd also see a power play advantage. What did you guys think on that side of things there, Shogger?
Sorry, I didn't quite. Have you ever seen a team get outplayed so handedly and end the game with a power play advantage?
Well, just that the Kings had more power play.
Yeah, so this is about the referees. Yeah, I mean, they missed some. For sure they missed some. No question about it. I'm trying to think if they missed any noticeable ones the other way that were as obvious. But Quinton Byfield put his hand on the puck in the crease stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened. So there was that, and that was pretty significant. There was the Kane getting throttled into the net. It was a little bit goofy, and I'm not one to complain much about the refs, but when you miss 2 biggies like that, I'll definitely note it.
Yeah, what I liked is the Oilers just kept playing, right? It can't bother you. You just have to keep playing. Yeah, you got screwed. Okay, move on. And or not screwed, but you could have had something else happen to you in that moment. So I liked it where their head's at. Their headspace seems quite strong right now.
Yeah. Zuby, couple more.
Okay.
1, 2. What do you got?
Maybe 2.5. Reverend Hans
always taking liberties
said, as Bieksa said post game, something happened in the second intermission last game. This team looks dangerous now. We've waited for this all season. Struddy, what happened, or what can you remember a time a game or a series or a stretch was turned around by something that happened at an intermission, something that was said?
Yeah, I mean, there aren't a ton of let's win one for the Gipper here speeches, right? Sometimes it's you just things just fall into place because you've been doing the right things for long enough. Sometimes everyone individually decides to do stuff, and I think that's more than anything is that you say, hey, we all got to find another level, right? And I think that is maybe what happened because everyone has really been contributing. This type of 2-to-1 shot share the last 5 periods is pretty dramatic against a team that's quote unquote trying to play tight.
Yeah, man. And they need to be down a couple of goals to bring their best, at least before anyways.
Yeah.
They kept being in these situations where, you do not want to go down 3-1 in this series. That was just an absolutely desperate moment. And so they flipped the switch And what they figured out tonight was how to flip that switch without having to be desperate. And that's a big swing for them.
I'm trying to extend this because we only need 21 more likes to get to the goal here. So
pound that like button. Pound the like button.
Okay, so here's
It'll be worth it. Okay,
so this is going back to the guy on the can earlier. This is a bathroom themed episode. This is an interesting question. Cade Riley said, "My question is, have you ever had to use the bathroom so bad in a game that you blew your shift and got scored on?" But you don't have to go there specifically. But have you ever, either of you guys ever have like the Roberto Luongo moment? Had to get off the ice in a hurry to take care of business, Shogger?
No.
You don't have to go into great detail, of course.
No. I mean, there have been a couple times where I've had to, commercial breaks here for the pod, but that's certainly not to that degree. That's a little bit more of a simple process. Zuby, I know for a fact though that mid-show, I think early in the days of us recording the pod, when we weren't live like this, you were known to sneak away mid-podcast to catch up on things.
Well, it just happened one time. I was up at Big White with my family, and we were doing it early. So they were all still sleeping. I'm like over in this other little room with my AirPods on, and I was to use the Costanza. I felt an intestinal requirement that had great force behind it, and I would have. I thought I didn't know if I was recording and I would have been. So I did wait. But it was lucky that I checked because the sound, you guys would have been hearing the sound as I took care of that. So that was a good thing that I did not. Oh, we made it to 5. We made it. I'll hit the thing again.
We are there. We are there. The people have come through. All right. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. We'll get to Struddy's big moment in a moment. Actually, you know what? I think we should just make this our play of the day. Time now, everybody, for our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patients. With the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more, contact gallerydental.yeg.com. If anybody is new on the show or wasn't listening in and around New Year's, Struds, one of the biggest pet peeves he has in his life is when people say Happy New Year too long after December 31st. What's your cutoff usually, Struds? What's the date that you go crazy over?
It's maybe a week. You maybe have a week buffer, but I think it's less than that. We'd have to go back and listen. But it's tight. It's tight.
Yeah. It is, and so it is absolute pet peeve in life to have to do this. So because all of you came through so nicely for us, it's how we're going to finish the show. So guys, nice job tonight. To all of you on the stream, fantastic numbers. We can't wait to keep building it here. Let's see what the Oilers can do. But we know we got a big game that we're all going to be watching on Thursday night. So we look forward to it. Thanks to all of our sponsors. On behalf of me, Zuby, Brownie, everybody here at the show. Struds, wrap us up, my friend.
This is for all of our listeners and my good friend Tony Brower. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. There it is, folks. We'll chat in a couple of days.
Yeah, get no respect.
That hurts. That hurts.
That did sting you. I could tell. Oh. It's a little subdued. You should have hit it harder. Do it again. Happy New Year.
I do so much.